Yeah, I didn't realize they were making an Omen movie, and then I saw that they were making a prequel to the original. And I thought to myself, I don't think that story needs to be told. I think they summed it up pretty well in the original.
I agree, yeah.
And then I thought, I'm like, how do you make a whole movie starring a jackal? That's like a weird, I mean, that's intriguing. I'll see it, but I mean, I hope you find a good dog or like CG animator. This jackal's going to have to carry the whole movie.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So they're talking about, the birth of the Omen. And so I saw this movie the other night. At one point, I laughed really loud, and I was by myself, and the two girls in front of me were giggling at how hard I was laughing at a certain scene.
I was also alone in the theater. I was
What?
very scared.
Joey C, I'm gonna ask you guys. First off, can you sum up the story of this film, and then tell me how you liked it?
So basically what is going to happen here is there's a nun who gets brought back to Italy to go in the nun school. Mm-hmm. And then she comes across a child who...
Real quick, Joey. I didn't say immaculate. I said the First Omen.
Oh, that's right. Tony, I'm starting to think they're the same movie.
They had a lot of similarities. I was in the theater. I'm sitting there. I'm like, I feel like I just watched this movie.
I literally did.
Oh.
We just talked about it.
That stinks.
Anyway,
God.
So Nun in Rome.
Nun in Rome thinks that there's an Antichrist, finds out that there were multiple Antichrists, finds out that the nuns and the priests are trying to birth the Antichrist to drive people back to the church, which is the most horrifying thing I've ever heard in my life. So then they finally, after many failures, birth the Antichrist, but they have like a little sex room sort of thing where the jackal comes out and mates with the women, man. And if you know anything, Tony and Casey, you would know that the jackal was supposed to be the mother.
Yeah.
I'm upset.
Look, I'm upset too.
Good.
It's been a rough couple months for Tony, okay?
Yeah. Yeah, it
Look,
is.
I got excited for Dune 2,
Yeah.
and I thought I wanted to see my favorite character from the first one, Thufir, come back. Hashtag Thoof Troop, where my Thoof Troop at? He was cut out of the movie.
Yeah, he was.
But I was like, don't worry about it. Ghostbusters Frozen Empire is coming out. I'm pretty sure my favorite character from the previous one, Lucky's coming back. Hashtag Lucknuts, where my Lucknuts at? She was barely in the movie. Heavily reduced character. I got real sad. But I was like, all right, Frozen Empire's let me down. But Godzilla X Kong, the new Empire's coming out. And I'm going to see this new winged monster called Phosphora. And I'm all in on Phosphora. Hashtag Phosphreaks. Where are my Phosphreaks at? I see the movie. They completely replaced Phosphora with Mothra. They wanted Mothra initially, and they didn't know they were going to get her. And then when they got her, they completely deleted the other monster and put Mothra in her place. That was rough. But I was like, don't worry. Don't worry. The First Omen's coming out. And I can't wait to see the Jackal's origin story. Hashtag Jackpack. Where my Jackpack at? I walked out of that theater and I was like, how do you screw up the one detail? Now here's the thing. Before like the last 30 minutes, love this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was really, really good. What did you think of it?
Oh, I loved it too. I thought I was like, they're really going for it. And
Yes.
they're going to, I was like, go for it. Do it.
They got that actor that I love as the Father Brennan, that guy with the deep voice.
Oh,
I always
I
forget
like
his name.
him.
I have no idea what his name is,
He was good
but he's
looking.
awesome.
He was the dad in the Witch. The Witch.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my
That's
gosh.
right.
Yes.
Another
He
great
is.
movie.
I mean, it was hard to understand him at times.
Because
but
he talks like that.
yes, he reminded me of an older Miles Teller.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, the priest from the original Omen is one of the Doctor Who's. One of my fans pointed that out, but I'm not a Doctor Who fan, so I didn't know
Neither
that.
am I.
But I'm bringing it up now in case there's a million comments about me missing a Doctor Who. I'm sorry. Yeah, I was on board for most of it. I liked the beginning with Charles Dance from Alien 3.
Yep.
I like how the fake out where you think he's going to get
cool.
killed with the
Yes.
pole.
That was one of the times that I verbally yelled out during the theater.
But I like that he's just like, everything's fine. I'm fine. He turns around. It's fucking
my
head.
Dude, you can see his
open.
brain. Oh my God.
Yeah.
I'm like elbow deep in a pepperoni container, eating this, making all types of noise, and then I see that and scream. It was rough, man.
Me and Joey were trying to relate to like when you're by yourself in a theater and you're making too much noise. And I was thinking like popcorn bag or candy wrapper. And he goes, my pepperoni container. And
What is that?
I'm like, Joey, we've lost relatability.
Listen, I cut
he
up
brings his own pepperoni to the theater.
I cut up pepperoni and put it in a little baggie and then, snack on it. No big deal. You got to have get your blood sugar up. Anyways, the movie was really good. I loved it. It was really fun, man.
Yeah, I was on board. I liked pretty much everything. The visions in this, the nightmares that she had were great.
Didn't she remind you of that girl you like? She looked like her.
Which girl I
The
like?
one from Baywatch.
Alexandra Daddario?
Yes, she reminded me of her. Yes.
No, she has nice eyes.
At
but
parts,
she
I
is,
thought
she
it
is
like it
not
looked like
Alexandra.
her.
By the way, I like both of them.
Yeah.
I have a chance with neither. But no. Let's not put. They're not.
Well,
on
it
the
looked
same.
like her to me.
I will say she is really cute. Not in the nun uniform, although I don't think you're supposed to look really cute in the nun uniform.
No, I thought she looked just
Although
fine.
Sydney Sweeney and Immaculate, I'm like still into it.
Well, this girl's performance was
really good.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
But
Wow.
yeah, so she hears about this whole trying to birth the Antichrist, and she believes it's this young girl. So the whole movie, she's trying to like help her and find evidence for that. And the whole movie I'm watching, I'm like, well, clearly it's not the young girl. It has to be a literal jackal. Like, what are we doing here? I'm like, at some point, the jackal will show up, right? I like Bill Nye, I think he pronounced his name. He's good in this.
Is he the one that's from Love Actually?
Yes.
Oh my
Oh,
gosh,
yeah.
that's all I
Yeah.
could think of was his
I
song
gotcha.
from
He's
Love Actually.
he's Davy Jones from Pirates of the Caribbean, the Squid
I haven't
Game.
Yep.
seen those.
The first one's
Sorry.
good.
But he is? Wow.
Yeah. That birthing scene in
Oh
the middle,
my
I was like,
God.
I was like, whoa.
Oh,
But that's when I was like, they're going to go there.
I couldn't believe what I was watching. There was a literal child next to me in the
why?
theater, and all I could think of is, why did this mother bring her child there? I am.
do.
It hasn't left my mind since.
yeah.
They the last time I saw a scene like that was in Knocked Up.
Yeah, I was
When
going
you
to say,
saw
remind
that.
me of the knocked up
Yes.
scene. We like faint.
Get out! I was when we saw that.
Yeah. So the demonic imagery is good. The kills are pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm
Oh,
sorry,
man.
the one guy. So she's a nun. She hasn't taken her final vows yet.
Mm-hmm.
And the other nuns there is like, hey, let's go a party in the room.
Dude,
Dude,
that
That
club
was my
scene was
first-
sick.
But when she was like enticing her to do all of that was my first like she can't
Hey,
be
look, she
good.
she
can't
didn't take
be
the
good.
vows yet, okay? All
I
right.
know, but like you would never what's the word am I trying to think of? Like entice someone to do that who
Peer pressure.
peer pressure.
Peer pressure, yeah.
I will say though, every single nightclub I've ever been in has felt exactly like that scene. So if no one's ever been to like a nightclub like that, like an
Yeah.
underground nightclub, that's exactly how it feels. Like when the girl was like slow-mo and she was like
Yeah.
with her eyes shut, that's how it fucking
Yeah.
feels.
And then that's that image from the trailer. The marketing for
Yeah.
this was really cool, by the way. Like that
Yeah.
first trailer was all in reverse. They did like a 70s throwback
Yeah, that was
trailer,
cool.
which I
I
thought was
liked
cool.
Oh, I have
one.
to rewatch them.
Yeah, they're cool. So I'm like invested in the main character. I'm invested in like the story, and in the back of my head, I'm like, well, what the fuck does this have to do with Damien's mother? None of these people are jackals.
I think you're really the only one who was concerned about this.
Casey.
But no, you totally make sense.
Yeah. And I was gonna give them a little leeway because like the young girl in the beginning, she's like on all fours, she's licking something. Oh, did they like make a jackal in human form? And then when it bursts the kid, it'll turn back in the jackal.
Okay.
And then there's like the twists that it's actually the nun.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, okay.
Twist.
And then there's
Yeah.
the car accident, and then she has the moment from Possession where
So
she's freaking out.
Dude.
It's basically the scene from
I
Possession.
know, I
Yeah.
haven't seen it.
Same kind of performance, but like her face is kind of morphing during that, and in the movie, I'm like, she's gonna turn into the jackal.
That would have been so cool.
She's gonna turn into the jackal, and then she didn't, and I went, huh?
You're right.
I'm like, huh?
What's going on here?
Bizarre. So you're right. It turns out these priests, they're mad that people are becoming more secular and not Catholic, so they're going to birth the Antichrist to scare people into becoming Catholic. I don't know if you want to birth your main bad guy.
No, literally.
Are you confident that your good guy is coming around soon?
Yeah.
Like, did Jesus give you a date? Like, I'm gonna be back this day. Like, okay, we can have a little bit of Antichrist.
Yeah, right.
Jesus, I'm like, I don't know, buddy.
It's just so
Also,
bad.
I don't think you're gonna get points from God. I don't think God's
No.
gonna be like, hey, you did birth the Antichrist, but you got a couple people to sign up for the show. I don't think you're getting into heaven,
Yeah.
buddy. I'm sorry. So yeah, they're killing people around the girl. I did like the dude who got hit with the truck.
Dude,
And then this
that
is the
was-
scene when she hugs him.
Oh my God. Oh.
And she tries to pull him and she cuts him in half. When it cut to like her holding the top, I went, ha! Like the girls in front of me started like,
Oh, I was horrified watching
Yeah, that was interesting because at first he's like, I didn't know, and you think it's because she's
Yeah.
a nun and
Yeah.
everything. But then when he got struck, I'm like, well, that's why, because
Yeah.
she's the demon or something.
yes. So she is one of the devil's children. And the problem is they were like, all right, every time he has like a kid, they keep popping out daughters, right? That's the problem.
Yeah.
It's like he needs a son. And they're like, oh, wait a minute. Instead of him having sex with a lady, why doesn't he have sex with one of his kids? Then he'll spawn a devil son.
Oof.
And again, I'm in the theater going, what does this have to do with the jacket?
Yeah.
So then she births the kids. Yeah, there's two of them. There's a daughter and then Damien, and then the Omen theme kicks in.
Yeah.
They saved the Omen theme for that moment. That you hear it a little bit
Yeah.
early on. You just hear the and then it goes full on.
Yeah.
And then it just the last 30 minutes lost me because then it tries to tie into the original. I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, but you're really contradicting like the main point.
It's true. You're right. Like, why hasn't that been brought up? Like every interview I've listened to, I haven't. We've got to ask them ourselves.
I don't know. And well, here I might have a theory.
Yeah.
Turns out this isn't a prequel, just a prequel to The Omen. They're trying to do their own franchise because the bad guys take Damien, they kill Thorne's kid and replace him. And then she takes her daughter. She sees the jackal demon. So I guess the devil took the form of a jackal demon. She sees the vision of that and leaves with the baby. Now she's raising the baby and Father Brennan's looking for her. It's a few years later. So she's probably the same age as Damien in the first one. And he's like, they know you're alive. They will hunt you. And also your son's name is Damien. And then it ends. And I'm like... feels like a Marvel movie
Yeah,
ending.
it does.
Like, what the fuck? Like,
Now that you mention it, that is true.
it totally lost me. And again, this is another case where I'm like, I would have liked if this was just its own Antichrist movie and didn't have to tie in with the Omen. Like, you didn't have to. There's a bunch of Antichrist movies. Not like a shortage of them. You
There's
could
a ton
just
of
do
them.
your own thing. But the fact that they were telling like this, I could see they wanted to tell this whole story about like a woman like taking ownership of her body and people manipulating
Oh my
her.
gosh! When I started hearing reviews about it being
Yeah.
political, I was
Really?
like, I didn't think that once.
No, neither did I.
And neither did they when I heard one in an interview. Like, they weren't trying to put that message out there, but they're like, oh, well, it was just coming out at the perfect time.
Well, the best art can be open to interpretation.
yeah,
It's-
well, I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
And you know what's actually very interesting? I listened to an interview with, I believe her name is Nell Tiger
Yeah.
something. It was on the Boo Crew. Love their podcast. How I said in the original Omen, they had a priest like come and bless the set, or
Yeah.
they had a religious something, you know, because he warned them like, you're inviting the devil. They did not have the set blessed at all because they wanted to. They wanted strange things
I'm sorry,
to happen.
what?
Yeah.
Mhm. Yes.
So they got to further the Omen curse so you can talk about it for years. And
they said that weird things did happen and stuff.
yeah,
I know that just creeps me out.
but
I don't
that's
that.
like, what is that thing where it's like if you're
If you're
thinking,
looking for it, you'll see
if you're
it.
looking for like a tiger, you will start to see tigers.
Religious
Yeah.
advisor,
Or like an
sorry.
orange car. You'll start
Yes.
seeing orange cars
If you're
everywhere.
thinking to look for it, you will
Yeah.
see it.
I just found that interesting.
that is an interesting point.
That's kind of scary.
But just like the way the visuals are, like even like during like the demon, like when he's like on her, like you never really see the demon too much.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even show the hands, but like how the veil is over and you just see the silhouette. It just felt really, really creepy and her like floating.
God.
I'm like, all of this is really, really cool. I wish it wasn't tying into one of my favorite movies and fumbling the endings so bad, like lead in. Because what if you were to watch these back to back, you'd be really confused. You're like, what is this jackal they're talking about?
I think there is a page, an IMDb page, that says the Jackals.
The jackal?
With the director, same director.
Really?
I do think there is.
Huh.
Interesting.
So you never know what these prequels can do. I don't know.
The
I don't know.
Jackals.
I would have been fine if she turned into a jackal and the
Yes,
movie just
I
ended
completely
and
agree.
led into it.
This is the amount of times I've heard the word jackal this month is more
Joey.
than I've ever heard in my life.
You don't
Oh
understand.
my gosh.
Like, I know people think I'm really harping on it because most of the movie's good, but it's like, it's just the one thing you needed to do.
Yeah, it is
You
a
had
very
so
important
much
point.
freedom to do whatever else you wanted, but like,
Yeah.
if you're going to be a prequel, if this was a remake, wouldn't give a shit. They're telling a new story.
You need
Yeah.
to tweet to the director or something because we need to know.
Just why did you change it? And I don't feel like seeing a sequel now because I felt robbed here. But like, it's like you can't watch these back to back because then Brennan is like,
Yeah.
I saw its real mother. It was a jackal, and it's like,
Yeah, it's
no,
confusing.
it's a nun.
Yeah.
All those scenes in the old movies, we now have to fix them, and I'm gonna fix them now.
What is it that you're trying to say? His mother was a...
Really nice nun.
I was adopted.
Really nice nun.
You were born of a...
Really nice nun.
I was conceived of a...
Really nice nun. It would have been a really good
Yeah.
lean into the Omen, but yeah,
Yeah.
it really fumbled. And I really like prequels can annoy me sometimes because like you can only be so creative because eventually you have to lead into the
Yeah,
other
that's
one.
right.
So it's just like we got to tie this up in a bow, and I'm like, yeah, well, if you're gonna do it, you really need to tie it up and make sure it's clean.
That's
'cause
right.
You kind of fucked up. But yeah, the first two acts solid.
Yeah.
Big
Love it.
time.
I want to see more from this director.
Me too.
I'm gonna look up. She did. I never watched that show, Channel Zero, that horror anthology show, but apparently she did a
Oh, yeah.
episode
Oh.
of that.
I saw she did the pilot of Brand New Cherry Flavor, which I've seen.
Okay.
It's on Netflix. It's about like a filmmaker.
Okay.
Yeah, in the 90s or something. And I remember watching the pilot and being like, I can't watch any more of this because I wish I had done it first. So,
Yeah.
but kudos to her for that.
Yeah, but I mean, out of all of them, I feel like this one kind of got it. Other than breaking the lore,
Yes.
kind of got like the feeling of it.
Yeah.
I felt creeped out. It was
That one scene when
that's
she's in the bad room and
Yeah.
she's talking, she's like, who said that?
Oh,
that
yeah.
was the scene where I was like, closing my eyes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was fucking
it was
scary.
tense.
That was
Wow.
scary.
It's not real. 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 Who said that?
That it always annoys me when there's a movie that's really good and then fumbles it at the end. That's when it
Yeah.
really hurts. It's like I liked so much of this. Recently it was Last Voyage of Demeter.
Oh, yeah.
All you had to do was end where the chapter in the book ends.
Yep.
Instead, they changed the ending of the book and then sequel baited into a franchise about this guy who's gonna, and then the movie bombed, so it's not gonna happen.
Yeah, never gonna happen.
So I'm just like, well, why not just end it where it's supposed to end? It's like, what the, why? Makes me so mad.
That just reminded me of something.
What?
Can we watch the Maxine trailer on your big TV? Because I haven't watched it yet.
I haven't watched it yet
Okay,
either.
good.
Yeah, we can do that.
Sorry.
All right. So yeah, it's drop the ball. Drop the ball, and I'm very disappointed. I'm not even mad.
disappointed
just
that you're disappointed.
I am disappointed. It makes so much sense, and you need to tweet to her.
Is she on Twitter?
I'm sure. I don't
X.
know.
I'll be like, you let the
Nell is,
hashtag
I'm
Jack
sure.
Pack down.
I think that'd be great. Please do it. Because you're right. I haven't heard any other person bring it up.
Yeah,
by
neither
the
have I.
way, watching the trailers, I'm like, that jackal's not going to be in this movie. That's why I was doing so much of it. I kept posting a picture of a random jackal, but can't wait to see my girl on the screen.
That would have been great.
There was a funny note, like all the demon girls had the same name, Lucinia, and that is the name on the jackal's grave in the Omen.
Wait,
Oh,
what demon
wow.
girls?
Like all the failed.
Diana.
Yeah, Luciana. That's
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Diana.
But they were all called Luciana,
Yeah.
and in the Omen,
Skiana.
huh?
Just Skiana.
I thought it was Luciana.
I thought it was Luciana.
Well, whatever
too.
the name is on the
Sorry.
documents
Said
is the
Skiana.
name on the grave in the original where the jackal was
Gotcha.
buried.
That's
Okay.
cool.
You know, the jackal, Damien's
Yeah, of
mother.
course. Yeah. Damien's mother.
Yeah, so that is the Omen franchise. I'm glad we did this all at once.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Because a lot of them, other than like 3, is just like, and then another person thinks he's the devil and they die.
That's
Would have
pretty
been weird
much
to
it.
do that like 6 times. So
Yeah.
let's just knock it out of the way. But yeah, the first one, obviously not the worst. Very near and dear to my heart. One of my
course.
favorites. Joey C, what do you think is the worst Omen movie